Why would someone who earns a good salary buy lottery tickets every single week? Why would a person who lived through hyperinflation hoard cash under their mattress instead of investing it? Why did your friend take out a huge loan to invest in a speculative cryptocurrency based on a tweet? From the outside, these decisions seem foolish, irrational, maybe even a little bit crazy. We sit back and judge them, confident that we would never make such an obvious mistake. But what if we're wrong? What if none of these decisions are actually crazy? Today, we are going to explore the very first, and perhaps the most fundamental and compassionate, lesson from Morgan Housel's The Psychology of Money, the idea that no one is crazy. Your financial decisions, my financial decisions, and your neighbor's financial decisions all make perfect sense once you understand the unique and limited view of the world that each of us has. To understand this, we have to accept a humbling truth. No one experiences the same world. While we may live on the same planet, our personal experiences with money, risk, and opportunity form a unique reality for each of us. Our view of how money works is shaped by a tiny, microscopic slice of history, the one we happen to live through. And this personal history is far more persuasive than any textbook or financial model. Let's paint a picture with a few different lives. Imagine the child of the Great Depression. This person was born in the 1920s. They watched their parents lose their jobs, their savings, and their dignity. They saw banks fail, taking their family's money with them. For them, the stock market isn't a wealth-building tool. It's a cruel casino that destroys families. Their experience taught them that the financial system cannot be trusted. As an adult, this person might distrust all banks, refuse to invest in stocks, and keep their life savings in cash, hidden under a mattress. From a modern financial advisor's perspective, this is crazy. They are losing purchasing power to inflation every single day. But from their perspective, based on the trauma they witnessed, their behavior is perfectly rational. They are optimizing for survival and avoiding the one risk that scarred their soul. Now, imagine the child of the 90s tech boom. This person grew up in Silicon Valley. They saw their parents and their neighbors get fabulously wealthy by investing in tech stocks like Intel, Cisco, and Microsoft. Their entire experience of the stock market is that it's a magical money-making machine. As an adult, this person might have an extremely high tolerance for risk. They might pour all their money into speculative tech startups and crypto, assuming that big, fast gains are normal. To the child of the Depression, this behavior would look like pure insanity. But to the child of the tech boom, it's a perfectly rational strategy based on their direct, personal experience of the world. Finally, consider the lottery believer. This person grew up in a low-income community where the traditional paths to wealth, going to college, getting a high-paying job, seemed like an impossible fantasy, reserved for other people. They've never seen anyone get rich through saving or investing. The only people they've ever seen escape their circumstances did so through a stroke of luck, like a sports contract or, yes, winning the lottery. For them, buying a lottery ticket in a tax on the stupid, it is the only tangible form of hope they feel is available to them. They are paying a few dollars not just for the tiny chance of winning, but for the permission to dream of a different life. The point is this: none of these people are crazy. Each one is making decisions that are perfectly aligned with their own personal narrative, a narrative written by their unique life experiences. This is why so much generic financial advice fails. A financial planner telling the child of the Depression to be 80% in stocks is ignoring their deep-seated emotional reality. It's good advice on paper, but it's terrible advice in practice for that person, because the first time the market drops 10%, their trauma will kick in and they will sell everything in a panic. The rational plan was not reasonable for them. It's easy to see this empathy in others, but the real power of this idea is when we turn the lens inward. The most important part of "no one is crazy" is applying it to yourself. Think about the financial decisions in your past that you are most ashamed of. That impulsive car purchase you couldn't afford, taking on too much credit card debt, selling all your stocks in a panic at the bottom of a crash. Our natural tendency is to look back at these moments with harsh judgment and call our past selves stupid. But you weren't stupid. You were just acting on the information and experience you had at the time. Maybe you bought that expensive car because you grew up feeling invisible, and you thought that car would finally make people see you. Maybe you took on that debt because your parents always used money to solve problems, and it was the only coping mechanism you knew. Maybe you sold in a panic because you watched a family member lose everything in a previous crash, and the fear of repeating that was overwhelming. When you can look back at your past financial mistakes without shame, and instead with curiosity, you unlock the ability to change. You can perform a financial autopsy on your own life. You can understand the why behind your behaviors. This self-awareness is the key to not repeating them. This idea empowers you to build a financial plan that works for your psychology. Everyone has their own unique financial crazy. Acknowledge it. If you know you're prone to panic, build a more conservative portfolio with more cash and bonds than the experts recommend. That's not suboptimal. That's a wise plan built for you. If you know you have a weakness for FOMO, make a strict rule to never buy an investment based on a news headline or a friend's tip. So, the next time you see someone making what looks like a crazy financial choice, pause the judgment, get curious. Ask yourself, what might this person have experienced in their life to make this decision seem like the right one for them? And more importantly, the next time you feel the sting of regret over a past financial mistake, pause the self-criticism. Replace judgment with curiosity. Replace shame with empathy. Understand that you are doing the best you could with the worldview you had at the time, because no one is crazy. We are all just a collection of our unique histories, trying to make sense of a complex world. And understanding that is the first, most compassionate, and most important step toward building a wiser and more successful financial life.